Long time no see, YouTube. It's been, I don't know, it's been like 10 days since I made a video. We just had a lot of stuff going on, and I was dealing with some health issues that I was actually going to bring up and talk about in the video, which I wanted to talk about. So let's talk about that. Can I do carnivore without red meat? Or should you, or is that even possible? Because I want to talk about something that happened to me. I was having some chest pain, right? Similar to like what Paul Saladino was talking about with heart palpitations and stuff. And I had some, tests done and stuff. And don't get me wrong, I treated my body like a fucking trash can before I was on carnivore at different periods of my life. So, some of these health issues are probably shit that I've done to myself, and I'm just paying for it now because my body's trying to heal. But every time I would eat red meat more than once in a day, so like usually I would do like eggs in the morning, and then I would try to do, steak or something like that twice the next, 2 times more, because when I'm working out, it's very difficult to only eat 2 times a day or once a day. It's just not feasible. So the few times that I was eating red meat more than once, especially like large amounts. So like, let's say I had a steak and then I, ate some other type of cut or whatever later in the day, man, I was up all night with like severe chest pain, like heart palpitations. So I started thinking, well, maybe it's, gut bacteria, because there's a lot of, there's a pretty big relationship between what goes on in our gut and what goes on in our heart and our vasculature system. So, and I kept looking this up and discovering that same thing, that there's other people that relatively healthy, had a good diet and were developing symptoms of chest heart disease because of whatever was going on. So looking at things like TMAO, which is produced by a bacteria that feeds on carnitine, and also I'd had pretty significant trouble sleeping on and off, like, through carnivore. There was like short periods of time where I was basically not able to sleep, more than 6 hours. So this last, 10 days, I'd been experimenting with different things. And one of those was no red meat. And I like to try things out. I'm not so dogmatic where I'll say, oh, well, I'm carnivore, I can never change, I have to eat only red meat, this and that. The first day that I had what I've been doing is doing salmon in the morning to make sure I get like omega-3, or not necessarily in the morning, but like noon, and then I do eggs in the morning. My eggs are organic, pasture raised, so they're a little higher in omega-3. That's another thing about the eggs. Don't get when you get eggs, you may see something like organic and think that's good, or you may see something that just says free range. That's actually bullshit, because free range just means that the door is left open for like 24, or actually I think it's like an hour the whole day, and the chickens have the option to run outside and range, but that doesn't necessarily mean that they do. So they could be free range, and that just means that the door to the warehouse is open so that they could go in and out, but that they, whether they do or not is a mystery. So, which I don't think they do. So you need pasture raised, which means they're raised on a pasture, and you need organic. So those are the eggs that I eat. But yeah, so my experiment was, seeing does, dropping the red meat change any of my symptoms, and I'm sure there might be other people out there that have had this, but this is the thing, is everybody's so different, and what worked for me in the beginning isn't working for me now. So, and that's what, 8 months in, but the salmon and the chicken, man, the first night that I did that, it was like 7:30, and I was just tired, like, oh my god, my body was just like, you need to go to bed. So I went to bed at 7:15. The wife's on the couch. I looked at her. I was like, dude, I gotta go to bed. I can't stay up anymore. So second or third night was basically the same thing. As soon as I would eat some chicken, I'm eating organic chicken. It's still higher in omega-6. It's not the healthiest thing in the world to eat. I do like, eating ribs and stuff like that too, but something changed, and my body was like, man, you're tired. And I tripled my deep sleep, getting like 2.5 hours, whereas before I was lucky to get 55, 57 minutes. which is a pretty cool, I just think it's worth experimenting sometimes, because you're not, what works for you one day may not work for next. And I think everybody's looking for like a one thing fix all when it comes to health, and it definitely doesn't work that way. But these kind of things are something that you should look into if you start to have, if you have issues with sleeping or something like that. And I don't know if I've developed some sort of allergy to the meat, which is the red meat, which is possible, because it just seems like it's gotten worse and worse and worse over time. It's specifically worse with non-grass-fed meat. So I don't know if that, maybe the meat's just shit, and I've heard other people say that the source matters, but it's really hard to actually find a great source for grass-fed meat that who knows if they're telling the truth anyway. But this is a reaction that I had to it, and I feel much better. No chest pain. I haven't got blood work done yet, but I was having some inflammation markers go up and up and up and up since I started carnivore, right? So, and it could have been my choice for the meat. Maybe I was eating Costco meat and saying it was fine or whatever. But if you're eating just Costco meat every single day, like I was doing, who knows what's in that shit. I know they blade tenderize, which is shoving bacteria and stuff in the meat, but is that the cause of it? Who knows? But I did, one of the nights that I was up with heavy heart palpitations, I ate grass-fed both times. So it just seems to have something to do with red meat, but it's worse when I eat non-grass-fed. So that question of should you eat grass-fed or non-grass-fed, I mean, at this point for me, I would absolutely say I would, because is it worth it? It's just a few bucks more a pound. If it's if you're going to eliminate some health issues because of that, I would say absolutely do it. But yeah, that's some. Everybody thinks that there's a one size fits all for everyone, and that's just not true. So when you see people online telling you, oh, you should do this, you shouldn't do that, and I still believe that there's no reason to consume plants. Minus like fruit and stuff. I do think, because I've had fruit here and there since I've been on carnivore, done this diet, and I've got mixed feelings about it. There's certain fruits that I would say absolutely not. Like kiwi seems to really make me itchy, and stuff like that. So I stay away from that. But like papaya actually seemed to do pretty well. A couple times that we've been out places and had some opportunity to papaya, I would eat it. So I'm not going to turn it down. But yeah, staying away from vegetables for sure, staying away from seeds, absolutely, 100% staying away from seed oils and stuff like that. Yeah, I think that those principles to the diet are sound, and there's no reason to deviate from that. But as far as like the whole red meat is prime for everyone. I mean, everybody comes from a different area, different location, historic background of like what their culture ate, and red meat wasn't always available in every single, area. Like the Mediterranean diet seems to be pretty popular across the world, and they eat very little red meat, and they seem to be very healthy. So you can still get nutrients from other meat other than red meat. So, yeah, that's basically what I wanted to cover, and the reason why I haven't really made any videos, because I didn't want to, speak on something without kind of trying it first, and seeing where it took me, and but yeah, chicken seems to do pretty well for me. It makes me tired, and I kind of like that, because it's like, man, I feel like I'm getting rest. I don't know what it is about the chicken, but I don't feel bad. It just feels like, oh, my body's like, okay, it's time to go to bed, which is a normal feeling. The light starts to go out, the sun starts to go down, we turn all the lights off, my body's like, oh, time to go to bed. So I actually enjoy that feeling, rather than being just up and sitting in bed hoping that I don't have heart palpitations. Maybe Paul Saladino, that's what he was experiencing, and thought it was electrolytes. Who knows? He said he was taking electrolytes and nothing was helping. Maybe us short Italian guys, like me and him are both Italian, both short, about the same weight. He's a little bit taller than me by like an inch, but it maybe that's our culture. Maybe we don't do as well with just like 100% meat or red meat all the time. So, but we will. I'm gonna get Dr. Soul. He's got some ideas for some videos that we're gonna do. This is probably this weekend, so look for one maybe tomorrow or what have you. And then join the Facebook group Carnivore, Harder, Happier, Healthier. We just share information in there. It's not very dogmatic. People are nice. Nobody's gonna, you know, nobody's gonna yell at you for whatever place that you're at with your diet. If you still consume plants and you just want to learn more, you're welcome in the group. There's no rules. Like one of the groups is like, you basically can't even talk about eating plants. They're like, if you say the word vegetable or plant or something, they will kick you out. And it's like that's in the rules. So we think that's kind of stupid. You eat whatever you want. You're a goddamn adult, right? So it's fine. Nobody's gonna. I don't tell people what to do. I just share what I do, and if it works for you, and like it seems to keep me lean and healthy and strong. So. And my wife's had amazing results from it. So, but yeah, keep on keeping on. Try to ignore the shit going on in the news. And oh my God, man, if you watch the news, you think the world's falling apart. And maybe it is, but it's kind of nice to just focus on health and focus on what you're doing and not have to worry about it. But keep on keeping on. Don't get discouraged. That's kind of what they want. They want you to. They want you to feel helpless and like you need them. The government wants you to need them, and you don't need anyone. You don't need anything but your health. And the government definitely doesn't want you to be healthy. They want you to feed their system. So you got to keep on keeping on. But we'll talk to you guys soon. Have a great day. Bye.